Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Travis Boyd, and you are listening to Hollow Point Radio. Now, this episode, man, I've said this the last, 6 episodes. We're doing something different.
No consistency.
Now, ish.
He's consistently offensive, he is.
Now, in this episode, we're going to be on air, live, at the same time, with Southpaw. On his show, Comic-Con Line. Now, I'm also joined with my friends Slopez and Taylor.
And Frankenstein.
Captain Badass. That's my name.
And Taylor. And we're going to be talking about fucking comic books tonight.
Paper cuts.
Wait, his name's not even Lopez. That would make sense. It should be like Slamkez.
Well, in college I was known as Manches.
You haven't been on a Hollow Point show recently.
Now, we're going to be doing some fucking cussing. I'm going to be drinking some fucking beers.
Word.
And we're going to be talking about some fucking comic books. So,
Terrible.
I'm doing this because my good buddy Southpaw here, his show actually isn't getting as much air as it needs to get.
I'm not good enough.
I got more followers than him. This is fact. You can look at it. So if you like my show for any fucking reason, check out his. If you like comic books for any fucking reason, check out his, because the son of a bitch actually knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
Now,
You can't just plug people's shows, Travis.
the fuck I can't plug people's shows. It's my goddamn show.
Hey guys, what's up? I just started my cast. This is Marvel vs. DC. Fight! I'm joined by my friend. Announce yourselves.
Oh, I'm Taylor.
I am the Hollow Point motherfucker, Travis Boyd.
And you.
Slow pace.
And from this point on, I will be called Southpaw for this episode, so as to get continuity between it all. But we're gonna give some foreplay first before we get into this really vicious fight, I'm assuming, between Marvel and DC.
Pinky in the butt.
Pinky in the butt. First things first, we got this weekend Kick-Ass 2 opens.
Woo!
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about an 8 excited for this. This is kind of the last movie of the summer for me.
You should actually be a little bit more excited, because I know you don't like Nicolas Cage, and there's not a chance in hell he can be in this one.
Zombie!
Or
He
vampire.
is a vampire.
It's true.
Have you seen the picture?
Yeah, dude, he was in the Civil War.
He was. So that's coming out. Also this week, we got Infinity issue 1,
The Spirit of Vengeance.
which is going to be $4.99 actually. It's going to reprint material from Free Comic Book Day actually. And,
Oh, God.
Yeah, so it's going to be $4.99 issue, and Saga of course returns as well.
Alright, so those of you listening, this is actually my 4th beer.
In the face.
My fourth, too.
That marks Marvel's second event this year following Age of Ultron. The third event is going to be called Battle of the Atom, and it's going to be following the X-Men. Story about the future X-Men coming back to the present to say, hey, those past X-Men that are in the present, they're fucking up the timeline.
Convoluted.
It's a very event-filled summer. Now, on the DC strand of things, to segue, spoiler alert for anybody who's reading Trinity War, it turns out that the Crime Syndicate is actually going to be returning. For those of you who don't know, that's the Reverse Justice League, where you got the Ultraman and the Owl and things like that, those kind of characters. Basically,
Wait. Ultraman was a Japanese character.
What?
He looked a lot like Spectre-Man, oddly
well,
enough.
I don't remember. He's got a U on his
Well,
shirt.
it was the Crisis of Two Earths.
Yes.
I think you're thinking of the
The
Century.
DC event Crisis of Two Earths.
Yes, it's on the film there. If you want a good just introduction to those characters, watch it. But basically, they're going to be taking over the DC universe for a while, and the villains are going to rise up to fight them. People like Lex Luthor, because evil. The catchline is evil is relative.
That's interesting.
And unfortunately, this is going to cost DC people a lot of money, because if you
Like everything DC does?
it's actually true. I collect Batman. If I want to get the full run, I have to collect 4 extra issues of Batman. One featuring the Joker, one featuring the Riddler, one featuring Bane, and I don't remember the other one. I think it's the Penguin.
Why I dropped Green Lantern.
Yes, and to segue into that, we're going full into Marvel versus DC. Now, IGN did something very similar a wee back that I kind of like, as far as breaking it up. So we're going to break it up into certain things. We're first going to talk about the movies. let's start first with Tay-Tay over here. What do you think holds the better record as far as overall record of movies, Marvel or DC?
See, they both do good things. Honestly, though, I'm a Marvel guy, but I like DC films a little better, just because they're a little more serious in tone, which isn't like a bad thing for Marvel, but I kind of do enjoy like the little bit more seriousness of tone that DC takes with its movies.
Okay. Travis, what about you? Marvel, DC films, like which of you like better?
Marvel, definitely. Now, the reason why is because they don't want me talking about it this much on here, but I am actually extremely against the DC universe.
Damn communists!
Damn communists. That's actually what DC stands for.
Little known fact.
Now, the Green Lantern movie, I'm actually somewhat of a Green Lantern fan. Did I read the Blackest Night series? Fuck no, I didn't. I don't care about all the other lanterns.
Got one.
I will read Green Lantern in the sense that I like the Kyle character. I haven't liked any of the others. Kyle was an artist, and he was actually damn funny. It brought a lot of humor into the series, which is something that DC is extremely lacking.
But he wasn't a dick like Guy Gardner.
He wasn't a dick like Guy Gardner, or like
Hal.
Hal.
I like Hal.
Now, Hal can go fuck himself, that Spectre wannabe. Excuse me, runner-up. And as far as Super Douche goes, I'm sorry, Superman, he can go fuck himself with a piece of kryptonite.
Wait, is this about the movie?
It's segued. Okay, now Eric, what about you?
I think that I respect a lot more what Marvel tries to do with their movies, just because they're willing to try a more diverse group as far as who they're willing to make movies about.
Yeah.
If you're for DC, I mean, you get your Superman, you get your Batman, you get reiterations of the two. And, you know, they made a Green Lantern, and what do they have? Justice League Dark, isn't that?
That's when they got coming up. But look at the past movies. We're talking about Jonah Hex.
Well, yeah.
Every time they've taken a chance, it's burned them. And I think that's what
Hey, you know what? Jonah Hex is better than most of the Superman films. And a couple of the Batman films.
Marvel does match it better
I like Jonah Hex a lot as a character.
Comic books than...
Man, I'll watch anything with Josh Brolin, and I'll watch anything with Megan Fox.
I'm saying, if we're going to do another Daredevil, do it right.
What, Josh Brolin?
No, the Megan Fox part.
Are you kidding me? Aside from the toe thumb, she's hot.
I can't get past the turn thumbs.
Fair. I would say if you looked at the volume of good movies, like I'm not saying Dark Knight is probably better as a film than like all the other Marvel.
The whole Avengers arc, though.
But the whole Avengers arc, Spider-Man, and even the X-Men films, as far as especially success, they've definitely been more successful. And
now, on the other hand, you also have films like Daredevil and Elektra that have come out of it. Now, on the other hand, we also have Blade, which is a cult favorite that people actually don't realize is a comic book movie.
Open your eyes!
I think if you looked at the worst of the worst, which the worst of Marvel, I would say Elektra
is better than the best of DC.
And the worst of DC is probably Catwoman. And I think if you put those two together,
Catwoman is the worst.
Catwoman is the worst. So I think that you get the worst, more bad films out of DC, but the good film, the best of the best, is still, like you said, I think Taylor really put really well. I put it really seriously. But I like them to feel more like comic books. I tend to lean more with Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel does feel more like comic book movies.
You brought me on here specifically for this. Yeah. You actually told me not too long ago that Sony Pictures was getting ready to do they had a script. Yeah. And they're trying to get in production a Bloodshot film.
Yes, directed by the same, I think it's written by the same person who wrote and directed Kick-Ass 2, and is currently writing for X-Force, which means he's written more adult-centered comic book movies. So
this is awesome. Now, I bring up Bloodshot, and even if you're a comic book fan, you may not recognize that name.
True.
He actually came out in the 90s with a company called Valiant. And Valiant Comics, they died out when the comic industry took a gigantic dive, largely in part to Super Douche.
True.
Because of the whole resurrection after Doomsday beat his ass thing, which, my favorite story arc.
Wait, is he when he says Super Douche, is he talking about that other world Superman where...
No, I'm talking about straight up DC continuity. any super douche, really.
Remember whenever he split in two?
Yeah, I think that's what...
You know what? That was dumb.
Or that...
That was really, really dumb.
Woman's vagina.
I think that if there's a word to describe that idea, it's
the whole energy Superman thing was just... That's when I decided I hated Superman, because they were like, hey, every power he didn't already have.
Yeah.
Well, the
Superman thing was
due to a rights issue.
It reminds me of how Captain Badass doesn't like the idea of punching reality in the face.
Yeah.
Captain Badass? I was talking about punching reality in the face.
God, I hate that so much.
That
was Superboy Prime, just to be fair.
Same guy. Same
I say punch reality in the dick, but that's just me.
That's fair. That's fair. Which, if that happens, we've only seen a few films done by independent companies. Spawn. It was one. And then of course
Kick-Ass.
And then Kick-Ass. Yeah,
Kick-Ass was an independent comic.
And then you see stuff like
Frank Miller's Sin City.
Yes,
which actually did very well.
Based on a
yes, Two Guns was based on a graphic novel.
And that's what
the spirit.
That's what you see more though. Is you see more of original graphic novels being adapted, like Road to Perdition and History of Violence.
Right.
You know, I've still not seen Road to Perdition.
Fantastic.
I won't watch it because I hate Tom Hanks.
It's a great movie and a great adaptation.
Yeah, but Tom Hanks is a terrible actor.
Okay, let's move on to television though. Okay, now television.
Roadhouse. You mean the Shield series? Fuck it.
No, mainly cartoons, oddly enough. But DC's had a lot of success in Smallville,
Young Justice,
and The Flash, and Young Justice. My favorite has actually been the Green Lantern animated series.
I'm pretty sure you're a Teen Titans fan.
Teen Titans Go!
I hate that so much.
It's not the worst thing.
But on the Marvel side,
it's
you
not
have
those characters.
X-Men,
90s X-Men, 90s Spider-Man. But really,
when you leave the remote, it's
nothing of.
Okay, here's the problem here. Everyone is speaking at the same time. Now, we have two shows going, but that doesn't mean that they're differentiating between the four of us. It's not like you two are on that show and this two is on this show.
Well, I was checking the levels, dog.
Fact. Well, with television, you have DC has the Batman is Batman animated series from the 90s is the apex of what I think is considered the success of their animated.
I say give me the X-Men series from the 90s, followed directly by Carmen Sandiego.
Wait, to fix this whole talking over each other issue, we should
buzz.
Pass on the thing to everyone's opinion.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego these days?
Probably a brothel in New Vegas.
Oh.
There.
Did anyone ever look at San Diego?
Nobody ever looked at San Diego. Actually, on the animated side, I think DC's produced better animated films.
I will see anything they have done, and I will raise you a Marvel Avengers Next.
I like that.
Wait. Avengers Next, the one with the kids?
Yeah. Yes.
I've seen that. New Frontier's better.
However, then I will raise you Hulk Versus.
Oh, I haven't seen Hulk Versus. It's good though.
Hulk Versus is good. It is really good. Crisis on Two Earths with James Woods playing the Owl is amazing. New Frontier is also amazing.
I'm sorry. I have to butt in here. Speaking of the Owl, and this is my personal opinion, fuck Watchmen. Fuck it to death. That is the only... It's still an owl, you dick! The only film I haven't liked from Zack Snyder has been Watchmen. I didn't get a chance to see Man of Steel, so I can't judge it. There was always something else out when I would go to watch it.
And included in that is the Owl movie that he did.
Yes, actually, Legend of the Guardians was a decent film. It was ridiculously violent for a kid's film, but then again, this is the same guy that directed 300.
Fair.
It's
another one based on an independent.
Based on an independent comic book.
I think if you looked at television, I think critically, most of the acclaim would go to DC.
Yeah.
Just for the Batman show alone.
Smallville, too.
And Smallville. Those ran so long. Even though I'm not a big fan of Smallville, Smallville ran so long.
I will say...
sorry.
No, go ahead, Taylor.
I do have to say that, my childhood and the entire reasons I was in comic books was the X-Men 90s series. That was my childhood.
Have you seen Wolverine and the X-Men, the show?
I watched it, and
you have to get in more into the three. After the first 3 or 4 episodes, it gets amazing. It's the best X-Men show ever.
To see that yet.
I'll have to pick that up.
I have it. I bought it used at Hastings. We should watch it because, like I said, the first 3 episodes, I was like, "This is all right." And then past that, I was really into it. The individual stories that they do, especially the ones focusing on like Nightcrawler and things like that, they really do a good job of arcs.
Because Nightcrawler is a really hard character to get into.
He is. Well, I mean, the continuity that they have visually looks like the films.
A lot of people are kind of put off by the whole religious thing because they're like, oh, he's just a zealot, and then they're done with it.
In the Ultimates, he was.
But
he wasn't ultra religious in the 616, was he?
He was very religious. It was a very.
He's always been very religious. That is a character mainstay.
Yeah, it is just. It's in the Ultimate, it was taken to a more fundamentalist view, whereas in the original, it's more like what I think more people would consider very spiritual.
Okay. I guess like every time I read the X-Men has been a time where Nightcrawler wasn't a part of it. So
I mean, Nightcrawler is one of my favorite. Is my favorite X-Men right next to Shadowcat. So
cinematically, he was one of the best done, I think.
Oh, this is true. He was in X-Men 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The opening sequence.
The opening sequence of X-Men 2 with him just rampaging through the White House was amazing.
That's true. I gotta give it that. Let's fast forward really quick to characters because it's very related, and this is gonna be kind of like the final bit. What would you say the top 2 characters from DC are? Your top 2 characters from DC? Taylor.
Superman and Simon Baz from the Green Lantern, probably.
Well, are we throwing in Vertigo too?
Like for example, Constantine has been used in mainstream, so you can use like that.
I would say Constantine, but I don't like DC's Constantine. I like Vertigo's Constantine.
Fair. What about you, Lopez? Because you read more.
I'd say personally, I'm a pretty big Swamp Thing guy.
Yeah.
So Alec Holland.
Swamp Thing!
Yeah,
everything.
And this is totally not copyright infringement. And as far as Marvel, right now I'm a pretty big Thor guy, but I don't know, man. Matt Murdock, I'm always going to be a Daredevil guy.
Wait, what are we talking about, Marvel?
Well, maybe we can go to Marvel.
I need to let you borrow.
What are your 2 favorite Marvel?
The Daredevil crossover with Magdalene,
Thor and
which is a top cow character.
I like that.
The one
Thor, and I really honestly like Cyclops. I like his current run even now. He is a bit of a gift, but that's part of his charm.
Like an issue. They have one
Sounds
in
good.
existence. And it's the Magdalena is a character that she's the last descendant of Jesus Christ and actually carries the Spear of Destiny.
It's a good one.
That's interesting.
What about your 2 favorite Marvel characters? Because I know you don't give a shit about DC.
No, I don't, except for Green Lantern. My 2 favorite Marvel characters, I am a really big Hulk fan.
Woo.
I like the whole just smash thing.
You should read Indestructible. It's really good.
I have been. It's a really fun ride.
Right.
I like the whole
I like Rob.
banner build.
Yeah.
And then Hulk destroy. I like that. They're just like Shield's like we're just gonna toss a Hulk grenade into AIM and call it good.
I like his relationship with
love that.
Something fierce.
Oh yeah. And as for the second one, I think I'm gonna have to actually go with Taylor and be a Thor fan. I do love Thor.
Young Thor, Super Old Thor, or Avenger Thor?
Avenger Thor.
I like Super Old Thor because he's gonna destroy Rome.
Now, like as for most interesting character, I would honestly have to go with Tony Stark. Because he's constantly having to overcome his alcoholism.
Well, I mean, if we're going psychological issues, Bruce Banner's constantly having to overcome his anger.
I choose the Banner
everything
because he's insane.
Marvel, I have to go with
Beer number 5.
my favorite, obviously Spider-Man. Anybody that's ever known me,
Spider-Man is a very awesome character.
He's my absolute favorite.
I've been into every now and then the Superior Spider-Man comics. It's an interesting new direction to take it in, but I am wondering when Peter is going to make a reappearance.
It's a really faulty execution, in my opinion. They go really cool, and then they go, okay, you're not following up on that. Really cool, and then okay, you're not following up on that. Second favorite character in Marvel is really hard for me because there's a lot of them to choose from. I'm really because it's hard to separate the series I read and like right now. So I really like Daredevil and Hawkeye, but I would never really put them on my top 10 list of heroes.
See, I used to be a Hawkeye fan back in the day, but I'm not anymore because I honestly don't see a reason for him.
You should read his current series.
Now, the Ronin, I liked him in the Ronin suit because he's almost like a weaker Shang-Chi.
Okay, okay. Now that you say that, I'm gonna go with Luke Cage as my second favorite.
Ooh,
I love Luke Cage.
I do like Luke Cage.
You know he's getting a new. He's getting an Avengers team.
I've heard. Yeah, Mighty for the Infinity, which he should be getting one anyway. But I think that I really like the current Hawkeye is him dealing with street level thugs.
Right.
So that makes a lot more sense for him.
That does.
And him and Secret Avengers makes sense from his espionage kind of idea.
Honestly, I kind of like when he tried to redo the Thunderbolts.
Yes.
Because that was a really interesting take. It's like he's trying to take these villains and turn them into good guys.
Thunderbolts is my second favorite team of all time. Like X-Men and then Thunderbolts. I love Thunderbolts.
Now, are you talking like Dark Reign Thunderbolts?
I loved Osborn and Bullseye. And but I like the original Screaming Mimi and Baron Zemo, Citizen. What was it called? Citizen. It was like something Citizen, and he was of course Baron Zemo underneath. But I really like the origin of that.
Do you think the Avengers film franchise will get enough villains to create a Thunderbolts team?
I would first like to see them create a Masters of Evil and then transition into that. But yeah, I don't know if the Avengers itself will, but between all of the films under the umbrella, then definitely.
Now, I hate to do this to you,
okay,
because we are technically on your show right now, but this is what you brought me on
here
for.
No.
You've got maybe 10 minutes left. Do you want me to talk about the Image and Valiant runs?
I would like you to say why you like those over DC and to a certain extent Marvel.
Okay. My favorite Image comic, and this is from a long while back, like maybe the first 1 through 50 issues of it. And this is Image. This is the same company that put out Spawn. And if you're a comic book fan, you have at least heard of Spawn, if not seen the movie. I like the movie, but that's not what we're talking about.
It's fine.
John Leguizamo is the clown. That was awesome.
It's a good movie. It's fine.
Now,
that's not a good movie.
The Savage Dragon was my favorite because the first 50 issues he was just trying to be a cop. That's all he wanted to do. He was, if you're not familiar with the title, what he was a tall humanoid person. He looked just like a person except he was green, and he was bald except for a fin on his head. So they started calling him Dragon. That was his name. He had amnesia. He didn't know who he was. He'd just woken up in a burning field one day. And he was super strong, ridiculously tough. His seemed to be his one weakness was that he would routinely pass out from blood loss, because Image was a very graphic company. They went much more adult. They were not intended for children.
Do you read Invincible today? Because that's kind of a...
I've checked out Invincible once or twice. It's got some really cool ideas to it, but at the same time, it's almost like they're poking fun of DC.
Yeah.
In a couple instances, it seems like that. Now, Image has put some new good stuff out. If you're an AMC fan, they have actually done the comic book that the show Walking Dead was based off of.
Good comic book.
And it was an amazing comic book. It was very good, very well done.
Saga, my current favorite series I collect, they put Saga out.
See, I haven't checked Saga out.
It's amazing.
I don't know anything about it.
It's a fan. You should
might just be a Mooney then.
Now, I did, however, pick up an issue just the other day of something called Burn the Orphanage.
That's really good.
And it was very cartoony. It was ridiculously cartoony, but it was very fun. Which, in all honesty, is one of the mainstays of a comic book. Either you're going to have a ridiculously awesome story, or you're going to try to make it entertaining. And it was fucking fun. I mean, they had stripper ninjas in it. And in order to beat them, the main character, whose name is Rock, actually grabbed one by the ankles and swung her into another one, and that's very video game-ish.
That's how you deal with ninjas.
That's how you deal with ninjas. Or Gatling guns, as per Way of the Warrior.
Yeah,
or Warrior's Way, excuse me.
Great movie.
Great movie. Now, on to Valiant. Valiant was a company that came out in the 90s, and they've recently gotten a relaunch, and they've relaunched such titles as Bloodshot, which was think Captain America, except instead of just making him a superior human being, now instead of having blood, it's nanomachines. So he heals ridiculously quick. He has complete control over his body. Like, he can move muscle mass from one arm to the other so that he hits really hard. He heals ridiculously fast as long as he has protein. So sometimes he actually has to go eat something or someone. Expert at all forms of firearm, strategy, demolition, any type of warfare. The guy's an expert at it. And he can actually control computer programs to a degree. So they relaunched that one. They picked up Harbinger, which is almost like their version of the X-Men, except everything comes from all the powers are psionic.
Yeah.
Which, that's not to say that it's not like, well, I don't just make flame happen. They do. They make flame happen, but it's psionic based. It's not just I can accelerate the particles in the air and shit like that. Like, say, Pyro from Marvel.
Good joke.
Everything is based on the brain, so they try to go a little bit more scientific with it, or try to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a comic book, so there's only so much you can do. But they have some really cool stuff in Harbinger. I haven't been following that one as much as I have Bloodshot, because, say, for Marvel, I'm a big Punisher fan. And, well, I like him because the other heroes, they're like, well, we're going to lock these guys up and they're not going to be a problem anymore, but then, like, 2 months later, they break out and they kill 70, 80 people. Whereas the Punisher's like, no, I'm just going to put a bullet in you and we're done.
Yeah.
Move on to the next guy.
Punisher's a big favorite in my top 10.
Where, honestly, as far as the Marvel movies go, he's actually in my favorite films. Avengers was good, but I mean, you know, that was written by Joss Whedon. So
Yeah, it's got a little handicap.
There's not much that I can disagree with on that.
Tom Hanks.
You, sir, will die.
What if Joss Whedon directed?
So continue with Valiant. Archer and Armstrong.
Kill somebody.
Archer and Armstrong. Okay.
I like that book.
Fantastic.
That one is funny. It's ridiculously funny. It's got a good story, and then it's just comedy all the time. And, like, okay, if you're a dead...
plenty of bloodshed.
Mixed with... Well, not really. They don't get as graphic as, say, Bloodshot, or...
I'm just saying...
Or even Shadowman.
Armstrong routinely loses his eyes in fights.
Well, he does. True. Okay. Archer and Armstrong is about a boy who's... If you're any kind of familiar with Marvel, then you've come across a guy named Taskmaster. Taskmaster can see a fighting style or a move or something
Once,
and it's memorized.
I love Taskmaster.
Archer, which is, I think he's 18, maybe 19.
Yep.
He can do the exact same thing, but he's been training to take out this immortal named Armstrong. And Armstrong is the very definition of immortal. He's a big guy, he can punch through things hard, and he can't die, no matter what happens to him.
Arms and legs.
They grow back.
They grow back.
Takes a while, but they
It would take a while. Like, he's got the normal human healing factor,
Yeah.
but they would grow back.
But your legs don't grow back if you lose them.
They would. It just, he heals in normal time, like a regular human does. He's not like Wolverine, where it's just like a couple minutes later. It would take the months and months of healing that a normal person would have, like, just to get over a stab wound. He heals in that same rate of time, but it's much more...
I think it's a little accelerated.
A little bit, but, like, at the same time, he's not Wolverine.
Just keep doing it. Just keep cutting off the blood.
Fashion Beast.
Can't kill him, but you'll cripple him.
Fashion Beast isn't Valiant.
This was?
Not the new one.
I think I fixed the problem.
I'll show you when we're done.
Now, then they've also picked up Exo Manowar. Exo Manowar is kind of like their version of Iron Man, in a sense. Except the guy didn't make the suit. He's a Visigoth from back in the day. Like, he was fighting Romans, and then he got abducted by aliens. And he ends up stealing this battle suit that they had in, like, holy reverence. Like, this was like a sacred relic to them. So he steals it, and now he's in modern day time. And these things keep trying to invade. And
because he has their holy relic.
Yes, because he has their holy relic.
Well,
that's exactly why they keep coming back. But they couldn't use it. Every time they try to put it on, it would kill the person trying to wear it. All right. Southpaw is running out of time, so I'm gonna have to speed things up. They picked up Shadow Man again, which has to do with a lot of voodoo.
Yep.
It's actually a really good read. A lot of people don't want to get into it. The same reason they didn't want to get into Ghost Rider, because of the whole it's not Christian thing. As a Christian, I know that's hard to believe if you listen to my show, but as a Christian, view it as an okay story. If you just read it strictly for the story, it's a very good read. They're relaunching Hardcore, which is very good. It's going to appear in the next Bloodshot issue. They've already been out in Harbinger Wars. That was an event they just ended this summer. And then there was they were restarting Quantum and Woody, which I haven't been checking much into, but it seems like it's going to be very heavily comic based, very, very funny. And I'm going to turn back over to Southpaw now.
Okay, guys, we got a little bit of time left on here, just a little bit. I love the fact that we're able to bring independent comics on here, and like he mentioned, the Bloodshot movie. It's going to be interesting to see if the comic book movies end up creating what the comic book industry did, and that was a huge market for something different than what they're seeing, especially if DC goes the route of the Justice League films. We have the Justice League films, then we're going to have the Avengers films, we're going to have the X-Men films, we're going to have all these big universes. To me, I lean more towards Marvel because of characters and story. I'll probably have to have a round 2 probably next week. But Sunday, we're going to be broadcasting the live results after the show, the live results, but the results and our reaction from SummerSlam. So that'll be fun. So read comics, watch comic book movies, get in the comic book industry, and thank this guy, Hollow Point. And see you guys later, my friends.
And I actually still have about 18 minutes left on my time. Holy damn.
Sweet.
So
let's just make moans and sex.
We're not having sex on my show.
I am.
No, Lopez, stop playing with yourself.
I'd put it away.
Taylor, that means you too.
I'm about to quit having sex. This is my house.
Actually, it's not your name on the lease.
But you can continue because mine is.
I pay rent.
So now let's talk about wrestling.
I wouldn't mind.
All right.
Bring it on.
Now, see, the problem with today's wrestling is
that people think CM Punk is a good wrestler.
Now hear me out. This is an industry-wide problem. How is nobody going to do a damn vertical suplex?
You know, I like vertical suplexes. It's my third favorite suplex.
That's good.
But I'm just saying, you have more than three favorite suplexes.
Northern Lights, Fisherman.
Okay, I'm just saying I like a bulldog suplex.
Wait.
How many suplexes are there?
I don't know that.
It's brand new. I just made it now.
That's impressive. Food is ready?
Food is ready.
Right.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but this has been a broadcast of Hollow Point Radio in the Crosshairs, the very first one of its kind. And I'd like to tell you to have a nice week, a better tomorrow, and remember, when life gives you shit, punch it in the dick.
Or eat it.